Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're unlocking the immense power of people in organizations by exploring the dynamic world of employee training and development.
Yeah, it's a huge topic.
It really is. Our mission is to navigate the whole landscape, how organizations equip their workforce, from the moment a new hire steps through the door.
Right up to the continuous growth of their seasoned leaders.
Exactly. We'll be looking at everything, that crucial first welcome, structured learning models like ADIE, all the different training techniques.
And nurturing future leaders, guiding through change.
Woo.
Big stuff.
Huge stuff. And even how to evaluate if all that effort is, well, actually paying off.
Which is often overlooked, isn't it?
Totally. So get ready to gain a shortcut to being exceptionally well-informed on a topic that's, frankly, central to every successful business.
And what's really fascinating in our sources today is how often training is, maybe mistakenly, viewed just as a cost center.
Oh, absolutely. A line item.
Right. Instead of seeing it as a strategic investment, our deep dive will really highlight that critical distinction.
Good.
Showing how a proactive, strategic approach to developing people can drive profound organizational effectiveness.
And boost competitive advantage.
Definitely. And set the stage for success right from the very beginning. It's really about building capabilities, not just spending budget.
Okay, let's start at that beginning then. Orienting and onboarding new employees. That first impression, it lasts, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It sets the tone.
So when someone new joins, that initial welcome, this is where employee orientation and onboarding come in. They're often used interchangeably, I find.
They are, but there's a subtle difference worth teasing out.
Okay, so maybe think of orientation as the initial, more formal welcome, getting new hires familiar with the company's ethos, values, policies, the admin stuff.
The practical, informational side. Filling out forms, finding the coffee machine.
Yes. And then onboarding. That's broader, right? More comprehensive.
Yeah, exactly. It's the whole process of fully integrating a new employee into the company culture, their team, their role.
Making sure they become productive and, importantly, engaged members.
It's about showing them where they fit in, not just physically, but culturally, strategically.
That distinction feels really crucial.
It is, because this isn't just about handing over a stack of forms or, pointing to the break room.
No.
Our analysis indicates that a strong, well-structured onboarding process can significantly impact an employee's long-term retention and their productivity.
It's like laying the groundwork, isn't it? If that foundation isn't solid.
Everything built on top is inherently at risk. Yeah. A haphazard onboarding. That often leads to early disengagement.
Higher turnover, too, I bet.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And just a longer ramp-up time to full productivity. A new hire who feels lost or unsupported in those first few weeks, well, they're much more likely to start looking elsewhere.
You've hit on something vital there. This initial phase is the organization's handshake. It's its first big opportunity to make a lasting positive impression. It's an act of welcome, of integration, making someone feel like they belong, not just like they've started a new job.
It's the welcome to the family moment.
Right. And then consistently showing them what that means through actions, not just words.
And the information covered is broad.
Yeah. Company philosophy, its history helps them understand the journey, essential policies, admin procedures, safety guidelines.
Benefits information, which is always critical.
Crucial. And of course, the specifics about their actual job. It's a lot to absorb, sure, but it's essential for a confident start.
Absolutely. And the importance of onboarding goes way beyond just information. It's critical for helping new employees seamlessly integrate into the company culture.
And quickly become productive team members.
It's about more than just telling them what to do. It's showing them how to fit in, how to collaborate, how to contribute meaningfully within the, existing dynamics.
That cultural immersion piece feels key.
It is. That's often where the real value lies, shaping behaviors and mindsets early on.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Our sources point to a fantastic real-life example.
Toyota.
Toyota. Always benchmark. Right. They have this structured 4-day onboarding program. Stands out as a best practice. It goes way beyond just a quick intro.
4 days is significant.
It is. They use this time to deeply introduce new employees to the company's mission, its core values, which are deeply embedded in everything they do.
The Toyota way, yeah. Your production system, daily operation.
Exactly. And the principles of teamwork, which are fundamental there. And it's not just process or technical skills.
No, what else?
It also includes critical training in communication and problem solving, skills that are just, universally useful.
What makes Toyota's approach so effective, I think, is that intense focus on values and culture from day one, not just processes or immediate tasks.
Right, it's deeper.
This deep-rooted, extended orientation fosters long-term engagement and alignment with Toyota's specific ideology. It moves beyond simple task training to genuine cultural integration.
So things like Kaizen, continuous improvement, and respect for people, they're not just slogans.
Definitely not. They're woven into every training module, every interaction. This kind of comprehensive onboarding shapes mindsets and behaviors early on.
Which is much more impactful than trying to correct things later, I imagine.
Far more impactful. It's about creating employees who aren't just doing a job, but truly embodying the company's spirit.
And that leads to better quality, efficiency.
Lower turnover, too, because employees feel a deeper connection and purpose.
So who's really responsible for making this onboarding successful day to day?
Well, our sources highlight that supervisors are ultimately responsible. Their involvement isn't passive. It requires proactive, hands-on engagement.
They're the frontline guides, aren't they? Providing immediate support, shaping that daily experience?
That's absolutely right. Supervisors must follow up regularly, especially in those critical first 30, 60, 90 days.
Not just a courtesy call.
No, it's a necessity. To address early-stage queries, challenges, check on progress, give feedback, offer support.
This consistent, visible support can make or break the experience, can it?
It truly can. Transforms potential frustration into confident contribution, makes them feel valued, connected. Without that direct line, even the best formal program can fall short.
Okay, what about practical tools? The employee handbook comes up.
Ah, yes, the handbook. A key practical tool. It's the comprehensive reference guide for policies, procedures, expectations, the rules of engagement, basically.
But there's a caveat, right?
There is. It's vital the handbook is framed carefully,
Right.
including necessary disclaimers to avoid potential legal liabilities.
That's a really practical insight, especially for maybe early career HR folks or managers. It's a guide, but also a formal legal document.
Dual role, exactly.
You want to arm them with info, but not overwhelm them. So how do we balance providing all that necessary information without making new hires feel like they're drowning in paperwork?
That's an excellent point. It is a delicate dance. The key is often a phased approach.
Drip feeding it.
Kind of. Instead of one massive info dump, successful programs use a blend of methods. Pre-boarding materials before day one, interactive digital portals for self-paced learning.
One-on-one sessions with HR for benefits.
Yep. And those crucial bite-sized daily or weekly check-ins with the supervisor for job-specific stuff.
What about peer mentors or a buddy system?
Very common, very effective. Provides an informal, accessible contact for routine questions. Takes some burden off the supervisor, makes the new hire feel more comfortable asking, the silly questions.
It's about giving information just as it becomes relevant so they can actually absorb and use it.
Precisely.
When we think about real-world impact, our sources implicitly highlight how foundational onboarding is. Think about cases like Apex Door.
Right, where employees were reportedly ignoring procedures, leading to errors.
While the source points to a need for structured training generally, it hints at potential initial training gaps, doesn't it? A failure to properly integrate new hires into why procedures matter from the start.
If new employees aren't properly introduced and supported, if they don't truly grasp the why behind policies, their role in quality safety, it can lead to significant issues down the line.
Affecting quality, efficiency, compliance, customer satisfaction, the works.
And similarly, look at Jennifer's plan at Carter Cleaning Company to revamp orientation and training. A strong onboarding process is basically the bedrock of her whole effort.
Yeah, if she doesn't get that initial welcome, cultural fit, and procedural understanding right.
Even the best follow-up training might struggle on a shaky foundation. Her job instruction sheets, videos, great tools, but they need to be introduced and reinforced within a welcoming, supportive onboarding framework.
So for anyone managing people, or even if you're starting a new job yourself, understanding the depth and strategic importance of effective onboarding, it can transform the experience.
From chaotic and isolating to confident and integrated, it's the launch pad for their entire journey in the organization.
Okay, moving beyond those crucial first days, let's talk about training in a broader sense, continuous learning.
Right. Our sources define training as the systematic process where employees get the necessary knowledge, skills, behaviors to do their jobs efficiently, effectively.
equipping them for success not just initially, but continuously, adapting to new roles, new business needs.
And to manage this systematically, our sources introduce the ADDI model.
ADD, a classic.
Widely accepted, almost universally recognized framework for the whole training process, start to finish. ADDI, it's an acronym.
Analyze, design, develop, implement, evaluate.
Right. Exactly. It provides a logical, cyclical flow. Ensures training isn't just ad hoc reactions, but strategically planned, executed, refined.
To achieve specific, measurable objectives.
It's basically project management, but specifically for learning and development.
I always think of ADDI as the architectural blueprint for training.
That's a great analogy.
Like an architect designs a building, clear purpose, structural integrity, phased plan ADI ensures nothing's left to chance in the learning journey.
It's about being deliberate, intentional at every stage to get a specific outcome, not just throwing content at people and hoping something sticks.
Builds accountability right into the process.
And that analyze phase.
Yeah.
It's the absolute critical first step.
Where you figure out what training is actually needed, not just guessing or reacting to symptoms.
Precisely. Without proper analysis, training can completely miss the mark. Wasted resources, frustrated employees, no real improvement.
It's about finding the root cause of a performance gap, isn't it?
Exactly. Not just treating the symptoms.
So how do organizations figure out what's missing? Get to that root cause. Our sources mention a few key techniques. First, task analysis.
Meticulously breaking down a job into its fundamental components, each task, each sub-step.
To figure out the precise knowledge, skills, even attitudes needed for success, like reverse engineering the job.
Then there are competency models, frameworks identifying the specific behaviors, knowledge, skills essential for different roles or levels.
They provide a clear target for training, right? Outlining the ideal profile for a job or career path, often differentiating between technical, cognitive, interpersonal skills.
And crucially, performance analysis. This is where organizations compare actual job performance against expected standards or benchmarks.
To accurately spot the gaps that training needs to fill.
It's a diagnostic tool. Looks at individual, team, organizational performance data. Reveals where people might be falling short, and importantly, why.
Is it a skill gap, knowledge gap, or something else? Motivation, resources, unclear expectations.
This analytical phase is where so many training programs fail if they don't do it thoroughly. It prevents that training for training's sake trap.
Ensures every dollar, every hour spent is targeted towards a real, identified need, something that will genuinely improve performance or bridge a critical skill gap.
Without this foundation, subsequent training is built on sand. No clear direction, no justification.
Okay, so once needs are rigorously analyzed, AD moves us to design.
Right. Shifting from what is needed to planning how the training will achieve its objectives.
The creative yet systematic stage, where the learning journey starts to take shape, translating analysis into a blueprint.
Precisely. And the cornerstone here is defining learning objectives.
Clear, measurable goals. What the training aims to achieve in terms of knowledge, skills, behavior.
Not vague aspirations like understand the product. More like, by the end of this module, participants will be able to list the 5 key features of product X and demonstrate its primary function.
Specific action-oriented statements. The measurable outcomes guiding everything else. They answer, what should learners be able to do differently after this?
Exactly.
And to meet those objectives, sources highlight crucial instructional design principles, guiding stars for crafting effective learning.
Like ensuring meaningful content, it needs to be relevant, engaging, addressing learners' real needs and challenges, connect to their daily tasks.
And organized delivery, structuring it logically, building from simple to complex, natural progression.
Then practice opportunities. Crucial. Frequent, varied chances to actively apply new skills in a safe space. Moving beyond passive listening.
Active engagement, mastery, reinforcement too, right? Encouraging retention through repetition, application, follow-up. Embedding the learning.
And finally, appropriate pace, allowing learners to progress at a speed that suits them, acknowledging different learning styles, offering flexibility.
How do we make sure this design phase really sets up training for success, not just, checking boxes? It feels like it's about strategic thinking around the learner experience.
You're absolutely right. The learner experience is paramount, and it starts in design. To ensure success, design must involve key stakeholders, future learners, their reps. Get their input.
Not a solitary task.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Plus, designing for transfer of learning is critical. How will skills learned in training actually be applied back on the job?
So exercises mirroring real-world scenarios, Manager involvement, post-training support.
All of that. And conducting pilot programs or alpha testing with a small group before full rollout uncovers issues, allows adjustments, prevents costly mistakes.
It's iterative, not one and done.
Exactly. That enhanced learner experience becomes tangible in the develop stage.
Right, the actual creation of all the learning content, lesson plans, workbooks, activities, case studies, multimedia, assessments.
This is where the design concepts become concrete, ready to deliver materials, building the learning assets.
Crafting presentations, writing role-play scenarios, building simulations, filming videos, the nuts and bolts.
And a big strategic decision here, as sources note, use internal experts and designers, or outsource.
Depends on internal capabilities, expertise needed, complexity, resources, timeline.
Sometimes internal experts know the subject deeply but lack the pedagogical or design skills. Outsourcing can be valuable for high-impact programs then.
This is where theory becomes tangible. Quality of content directly impacts learning outcomes.
Absolutely. Our sources mention renowned institutions whose executive programs exemplify high-quality content. IEMA, XLRI, MDI.
Benchmarks for effective program development.
Because their content is typically, 1, contextually relevant, grounded in current business challenges. 2, experiential cases, simulations, projects forcing application.
3, facilitated by experts' deep academic and industry experience.
And 4, rigorous. Challenges participants to think critically, apply complex frameworks. Robust content development ensures training sticks, transforms knowledge into skill, drives real improvement.
It's not just information transfer, it's transformation.
Precisely.
And then we move into implement, where all that planning and content creation comes to life.
The execution phase. Training delivered to the target audience. Learners engage, transformation begins. Theory meets practice.
And the critical aspect here is method selection.
Absolutely. Choosing delivery methods based on content, objectives, audience characteristics. This links directly to the training techniques we'll discuss next.
Choosing the right tool for the job.
Exactly. A lecture might work for foundational info to a large group, but hands-on simulation or structured OJT is essential for complex skills or behavior change. Implementation needs flexibility.
Okay, and finally, rounding out AD, the evaluate stage. Assessing outcomes. We'll dive deeper later, but it involves metrics, right?
Yes. Without evaluation, training is, frankly, a shot in the dark. A big investment with unknown return. You have to close the loop.
Know if the time, money, effort actually yielded results.
Our sources hint at evaluation based on several levels: reaction, learning, behavior, results. This lets organizations see not just if people liked it, but if they learned, applied it, and if it impacted the business.
Ensures accountability, provides data for improvement, helps justify future training, transforms training from a cost to a demonstrable value driver.
Exactly.
Thinking about AD in practice, Jennifer from Carter Cleaning Company comes to mind again. Her plan to revamp orientation and training.
It directly benefits from and aligns with a structured framework like ADI.
Her job instruction sheets, videos that fits design and develop, right? Creating the learning materials.
Perfectly. And her plan for mentoring a form of on-the-job training fits squarely into implement, specifying how learning gets delivered.
AD gives her that logical roadmap. Analyze needs at Carter Cleaning, design specific objectives, develop quality materials, implement strategically, and then evaluate impact on quality, safety, retention, addressing their core problems.
Yeah, it ensures her plan is effective, not just a collection of good ideas.
So for anyone developing training, ADI provides that clear, actionable roadmap, prevents missteps, ensures alignment, makes a daunting task manageable. Foundational knowledge for managers, HR pros.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've analyzed, designed, developed using ADA. Now, the implement phase brings us to the actual training techniques, the toolbox.
Right, and sources emphasize lots of methods available. The choice depends heavily on learning objectives, content, resources, the practical art of delivery.
It's like selecting the right tool for a specific job, you said. You wouldn't use a hammer to cut wood.
Exactly. Effectiveness hinges on matching method to outcome and audience learning style. A mismatch means ineffective learning, wasted resources, frustrated learners.
Let's look at some tools. On-the-job training, OJT, super common.
Practical training delivered right at the workplace doing the actual duties. Immediate application, feedback.
But it needs structure, right?
Most effective when highly structured, involving trained mentors or supervisors guiding systematically. Experienced colleagues give immediate context-specific feedback, invaluable for hands-on skills.
But unstructured OJT, that can be inefficient. Frustrating.
Incredibly so. Leads to inconsistent practices, bad habits, even safety risks if the mentor isn't equipped to teach. Its success hinges on the mentor's ability and commitment. Often follows 4 steps. Prepare, present, try out, follow up.
Building on structured learning. Job instruction training, JIT.
A highly systematic method, meticulously listing specific job steps and key points to teach procedural tasks.
Breaking complex tasks into manageable, teachable steps. Ensuring consistency, precision.
Ideal for tasks needing precise execution, strict sequence adherence. Manufacturing assembly, customer service protocols, complex safety procedures.
Little room for deviation.
Exactly. Breaking it down into steps, emphasizing critical key points for each safety. Quality checks, tool usage minimizes errors, accelerates learning, ensures standardization. Vital for quality, safety, efficiency, especially in high-risk areas.
Then lectures. Familiar, common in corporate training too.
Efficient for transferring lots of knowledge to large groups simultaneously. Often a foundation.
But effectiveness depends on delivery.
Sources stress. Need careful preparation and, crucially, an interactive style to keep people engaged. A static monologue loses attention fast. Passive listening, not active learning.
So less effective for skill development or behavior change.
Unless combined with other methods allowing practice, discussion, application. Great for introducing concepts, context, new info, but needs complements like Q&A, discussions, exercises.
Moving to more individualized methods. Programmed learning.
Interactive modules, often computer-based. Immediate feedback, self-paced progress.
Benefits seem clear. Caters to individual learning styles, instant validation, or correction.
Right. If correct, move on. If not, get feedback, maybe a remedial path. Highly efficient for mastering specific content, ensuring foundational knowledge is solid. Empowers learner, boost engagement, retention.
Sources also highlight audiovisual tools, videos, slides, animations, digital tools.
Incredibly effective for simulating real-world tasks, making abstract concepts concrete, visually engaging.
Demonstrating complex processes, showing best practices, depicting scenarios hard or costly to replicate live.
Exactly. A video on machine operation, an animation of a chemical reaction, conveys info better than text alone. Aids comprehension, retention, especially for visual learners.
Then there's vestibule training. Sounds a bit old school.
Maybe, but incredibly effective for specific contexts. Training in a simulated setting mirroring actual job conditions, but away from real production pressure.
Allows safe practice of dangerous or complex tasks, without disrupting operations or risking errors in a live setting.
Precisely. Think pilot simulators, surgical practice on mannequins, mock call center role-playing, low-stakes environment for high-stakes learning. Builds confidence, proficiency before the real job, invaluable where errors have big consequences.
And of course, e-learning computer-based training, CBT. Ubiquitous now.
Online modules providing interactive, flexible, highly scalable learning.
Advantages are huge, aren't they? Accessibility, learn anytime, anywhere, cost-effective for large, dispersed audiences, easy content updates.
Absolutely. Develop once, deploy to thousands.
Yeah.
Reduces travel, venue costs. Keeps training current with changing info, procedures, compliance. Flexibility has democratized access to specialized knowledge. Allows rapid response to skill gaps.
It definitely has. How has e-learning fundamentally changed the corporate training landscape? It feels like it shifted from purely instructor-led classrooms to more blended, personalized, self-directed approaches.
Transformed it profoundly. Moved from one-size-fits-all to personalized paths, adaptive algorithms adjusting content based on progress, spurred micro-learning short, digestible bursts, perfect for busy people.
But it requires learner self-discipline.
It does. Companies grapple with maintaining engagement virtually, often blending e-learning with live virtual sessions, peer discussions, gamification to keep it interactive, effective. It's now about intelligent blends of modalities.
That's a great point. And even with great e-learning, foundational skills matter. Sources mention literacy and basic skills training.
Enhancing foundational reading, writing, numerical abilities.
Importance can't be overstated, can it?
No. In an increasingly complex digital workplace, this ensures all employees have basic competencies, not just for current roles, but for continuous learning, career progression.
If someone struggles with a manual or basic math, even the best JIT or e-learning falls short.
It's building the fundamental capacity to learn, adapt, perform. A prerequisite for all other development, an investment in basic human capital underpinning everything else.
So, putting these techniques and ADDI together, sources reiterate a practical, simplified 5-step guide for creating training.
Yep. 1. Conduct a needs assessment. What's the performance gap? 2. Define clear learning objectives. What should they do differently?
3, choose appropriate training methods. From the toolbox we discussed, matching method to objectives. 4, deliver the training effectively, engagingly.
And 5, measure training effectiveness. Did it work? Achieve desired results. A pragmatic roadmap.
And these 5 steps basically mirror ADDIE, just more direct, actionable, makes the whole process practical for any manager or HR pro, breaks it down.
Exactly. Makes training accessible for anyone developing talent.
This section really brings those case applications to life. Apex Door Company employees ignoring procedures, causing errors.
Clearly highlights the desperate need for structured training, clear manuals. What JIT or well-designed OJT with trained mentors provides.
The right method, applied consistently, could have prevented those costly errors by embedding proper procedure quality control from the start.
And Jennifer's plan for Carter cleaning. Her job instruction sheets, videos, direct applications of these techniques.
Sheets align with JIT's systematic approach. Videos are great audiovisual tools for consistency, visual learners.
Her mentoring emphasis is classic, effective, structured OJT. These are abstract theories. They're practical tools managers use daily to solve real performance problems, ensure consistency, drive excellence.
This section gives you that practical toolkit. Understand these diverse methods, select the most effective approach for any training challenge, be strategic with learning interventions, use the right key for the right door.
Well put.
Okay, we've talked general employee training. Let's shift focus to a critical area, management development programs.
Yeah, initiatives designed specifically to enhance effectiveness of current and future managers. Targeted knowledge, intensive skill building.
And it's different from general training, right?
Crucial distinction. Employee training often focuses on specific technical job skills. Management development usually zeroes in on broader, maybe more ambiguous leadership capabilities.
Strategic thinking, decision-making under uncertainty, complex problem-solving, emotional intelligence, motivating teams.
Cultivating an executive mindset, building capacity to lead people, navigate organizational complexity, not just making managers better now, but preparing them for bigger challenges, higher responsibility, shaping the organization's future direction.
Exactly. Not just individual growth, it's building the leadership pipeline, steering the organization's future.
An investment in the strategic capacity of the whole company, ensuring a strong bench of talent ready to step up, innovate, guide through unforeseen challenges.
Without this proactive development, companies risk a critical leadership vacuum when experienced managers leave or retire.
And a core, indispensable part of strategic management development is succession planning.
Systematic strategic process. Identifying, developing high-potential employees for key leadership roles in the future. Ensuring continuity, minimizing disruption when critical positions open up.
It's proactive foresight, looking years ahead, ensuring the right talent is ready at the right time.
And there are practical tools for this. Sources mention management inventories.
Sophisticated databases of skills, experience, qualifications of managers, and high potentials. An internal talent resume bank makes identifying internal candidates easier.
Then replacement charts, visual aids, like org charts with an added layer.
Yeah, showing who's ready for which role, who needs more development, who's a future contender. A quick, strategic snapshot of the leadership landscape and potential gaps.
And arguably one of the most powerful tools.
Yeah.
The 9-box grid.
A talent management matrix. Plots employees based on current performance, x-axis, low to high, versus potential for future growth, y-axis, low to high.
Dynamic tool used by leadership teams in calibration sessions.
Right. Collectively identify high potentials, the stars top right, core contributors, those needing development or even reassignment. Provides a clear, structured framework for talent reviews, development discussions.
Ensures consistency across the org. Identifies customized development tracks.
Exactly. Connecting to the bigger picture. Succession planning isn't just replacing people. It's proactively preparing the org for future challenges by cultivating internal talent, building resilience, fostering a culture of continuous growth from within, a critical hedge against uncertainty.
Now, a lot of management development happens right in the thick of things. On-the-job management development.
Where managers learn directly in their work environment, immediate application, real-time feedback that classrooms can't replicate.
Like job rotation.
Excellent method. Enabling managers to get exposure to multiple functions or departments, marketing, then operations, then finance.
Broadens their understanding of the whole business ecosystem. Develops empathy for different challenges. Builds cross-functional networks. Crucial for higher-level strategic decisions.
Then coaching and mentoring. Personalized one-on-one guidance from experienced leaders or external pros. Invaluable insights, immediate feedback, career advice tailored to individual needs.
Coaching often performance-focused, mentoring broader long-term career growth.
Generally, yes.
And a dynamic, results-oriented approach, action learning.
Where managers solve real, pressing business problems while simultaneously learning and developing skills in a group.
Working on actual, complex organizational challenges, often cross-functional. Making decisions, seeing immediate consequences, supported by facilitators, peers.
Learning by doing, with real stakes.
What are the distinct advantages of learning leadership skills right there in the workplace versus purely in a classroom? Direct application must accelerate development.
Advantages are substantial. First, immediate relevance and application. See how new skills apply daily, boosts engagement, retention. Second, learning by experiencing real consequences. Success or failure provides powerful lessons.
Third, builds resilience and adaptability, navigating ambiguity, obstacles in real time.
Fourth, often results in tangible business outcomes because they're solving actual problems. And finally, facilitates network building across functions, strengthening cohesion. Classrooms offer theory, but on-the-job methods provide the crucible of real-world experience.
True, that immediate application is huge. But for broader perspective, structured learning, off-the-job management development.
Taking managers away from daily tasks for focused development. Space for deeper reflection, theory, new ideas, without constant operational pressure.
Like case studies.
Classic example, analytical exercises, examining real-life, complex, ambiguous business scenarios from various industries, improving decision-making, critical thinking, problem-solving.
Dissecting situations, identifying causes, evaluating alternatives, strategizing solutions in a safe, collaborative space.
And management games. Simulations replicating complex, real business challenges. Practicing decision-making risk-free, often competitively.
Experimenting with strategies, seeing outcomes, learning from mistakes without real-world consequences. Focusing on resource allocation, market strategies, supply chain. And for broader exposure, seminars and conferences.
External workshops, gatherings by professional bodies like AI and HRD, IMA. Invaluable exposure to new ideas. Emerging trends, research, networking, industry, best practices from experts, vital external perspective.
Most formal approach, academic programs, executive MBAs, short specialized courses from top institutes like IMS, XLRI, MDI, and IBM.
Provide robust academic frameworks, advanced theory, practical application, deep understanding of functional areas, finance, marketing, operations.
And finally, bespoke leadership programs developed by large organizations themselves.
Like Bank of Baroda's Leadership Academy, GE's famous Crotonville, illustrates how major companies invest significantly in tailored leadership pathways.
These internal universities cultivate their unique leadership culture, embed core values, build specific capabilities aligned with strategy, create a consistent leadership philosophy.
Precisely. Off-the-job programs provide structured learning, broader perspective, complementing on-the-job experience. Managers step back, reflect, acquire new frameworks, bring refreshed perspective back. The combination creates truly well-rounded, adaptable, strategically capable leaders.
It's abundantly clear these management development programs are crucial for resilience, future growth. Without them, companies risk that leadership vacuum, lacking talent, strategic vision, adaptability.
Underscores that managing talent isn't just filling current roles. It's a forward-looking, strategic imperative, continuous investment, cultivating capacity to lead effectively into the future through stability and disruption.
So for anyone aspiring to management, already leading or nurturing talent, understanding these pathways informs your own career and how you approach talent development in your team.
Recognizing leadership isn't just born, it's meticulously built, developed, refined through a thoughtful blend of experience and structured learning.
Okay, let's pivot slightly. We live in a world of constant flux. Markets shift, tech disrupts, global events reshape things.
Consumer preferences evolve lightning fast. Sources emphasize organizations must continuously adapt to remain relevant, competitive, even survive. Change isn't an anomaly, it's a fundamental, accelerating constant.
So the question isn't if change happens, but how effectively it's managed.
Exactly. Managing change isn't optional, it's a core competency. Involves structured strategies for smooth transitions, minimizing disruption, maximizing acceptance, and buy-in.
Guiding people through uncertainty, helping them navigate new processes, tech, ways of working, ensuring the org can pivot and thrive.
Change isn't just something that happens to an organization. It must be actively led and facilitated.
And that's where proven models for managing change are invaluable, providing a framework for navigating chaos, reducing that inevitable human resistance.
When we talk structured approaches, sources introduce Kurt Lewin's classic foundational model. Simple yet powerful three-stage framework stood the test of time, still highly relevant.
Let's break it down. First stage, unfreezing.
Preparing the organization or individuals to accept change as necessary, desirable.
Creating a compelling narrative for why change is needed. Communicating urgency, highlighting problems with the current state, challenging norms, comfort zones.
Essentially thawing out old ways of thinking and doing, making the current state less comfortable, future state more appealing. Without this, people won't see the need.
That's a great analogy. Once unfrozen, people understand the need, are open to new ways. Stage 2, moving or transitioning.
The actual shift to the new way. Implementing changes, processes, structures, tech, cultural norms.
Crucially, this stage involves providing new training, equipping people with skills, knowledge for new behaviors, adjusting systems, incentives, structures to support the new way.
Often the longest, most visible phase. Needs strong leadership, clear communication, ongoing support to navigate challenges.
And finally, refreezing, solidifying the new status quo, making changes stick, preventing backsliding to old habits, a common failure point.
Embedding changes into culture via revised policies, procedures, reinforcing new behaviors via updated rewards, recognition, updating job descriptions, celebrating successes to prevent drift back, making the new way the normal way.
Lewin's model highlights managing the human element resistance. Acceptance is as important, maybe more, than the technical implementation.
Absolutely. Perfect new system or process, but if people aren't unfrozen, moved effectively, then refrozen. The change won't last or achieve its potential. It underscores successful change is as much psychology and human dynamics as strategy and tech.
The cost of not refreezing properly, often a rapid return to old, inefficient ways, undermines the whole effort.
Beyond individual change models like Lewin's, sources also discuss organizational development, OD.
A long-term systematic approach using behavioral science principles to improve overall organizational effectiveness and individual well-being. Less about a single project, more continuous, planned evolution and health.
OD involves various designed interventions, fostering healthier, more effective orgs by focusing on human, social aspects. Sources mention common OD interventions like team building.
Structured activities to improve team cohesion, communication, conflict resolution, collective performance.
Then interdepartmental development. Initiatives fostering better collaboration, understanding between different parts of the org, breaking down silos, improving cross-functional efficiency by addressing intergroup conflict or communication breakdowns.
And survey feedback, powerful diagnostic tool.
Comprehensive surveys gather data on climate, engagement, leadership, specific problems. Data fed back to teams, leaders to facilitate open discussions, action planning, empowers them to drive improvements based on objective insights.
And we've seen incredible, large-scale transformations fueled by OD principles. Sources cite Microsoft's strategic transformation.
That in Nadella, yeah. Shifted from competitive, siloed software giant to more collaborative, cloud-first, customer-centric. Fundamentally changed culture, business model.
And closer to home for some, TCS's change management during their massive digital transformation. Another real-world example of OD principles reskilling a vast workforce, adapting to new tech paradigm. Highlights power of systematic, people-centric change.
So how do these structured approaches, Lewin's model, OD interventions, help mitigate that natural human resistance to new ways of working? Giving people a clear roadmap involving them seems key.
That's precisely it. Resistance often stems from fear of unknown, loss of control, feeling imposed upon. Structured approaches provide predictability, active involvement, powerful antidotes.
Lewin's unfreezing directly addresses the why, building a logical emotional case. OD interventions like survey feedback, team building, involve people in identifying problems, co-creating solutions, gives ownership control.
Clear communication during moving provides a roadmap, reduces uncertainty.
And refreezing embeds the new normal through reinforcement, makes it feel natural, making change feel less like something imposed on people, more like something they're part of creating, builds trust, reduces anxiety, fosters collective commitment.
That's incredibly insightful. Really highlights that managing and leading organizational change is a core strategic competency for any modern business, not just tactical.
Not just surviving external pressures, building a resilient, adaptable workforce, one that can cope with change and actively drive innovation, continuous improvement.
Absolutely. For anyone involved in change, small departmental shift, tech upgrade, massive company-wide initiative, understanding these models provides a roadmap, common language to navigate complexities.
Empowering people to move forward, not be left behind by inevitable change currents. The difference between reacting and proactively shaping organizational destiny.
Okay, we've walked through the whole life cycle: onboarding, ABDIE, techniques, management dev, organizational change. But the critical question tying it all together: how do we know if any of it's working?
Which brings us to the final, absolutely non-negotiable step, evaluating the training effort.
Sources fundamentally emphasize training must be rigorously assessed, ensure it delivers tangible value, achieves intended objectives.
Without robust evaluation, orgs invest significant resources, time, money, effort, without knowing if it's paying off, like marketing without tracking sales or building a bridge without testing its load capacity, a fundamental accountability gap.
It's closing the loop, moving from assumption to evidence. How do we know we're actually making a difference? The moment of truth. Did learning lead to desired outcomes? Proving ROI for human capital development.
To answer that, measure impact systematically. Sources introduced Donald Kirkpatrick's widely used four-level model. Comprehensive framework. Assess impact at increasingly sophisticated levels, from immediate reactions to long-term business results.
First level, level 1, reaction. Gauges participant satisfaction. Did they like it? Find it relevant, engaging? Instructor knowledgeable. Facility okay. Measured via surveys, feedback forms right after. How useful? Recommend.
Important for engagement, spotting immediate delivery issues. But positive reactions don't guarantee learning or behavior change. Someone can enjoy training, find it entertaining, still not learn much or apply it. Necessary first step for buy-in, but a vanity metric if it's the only measure.
Which brings us to level 2, learning. Assesses if participants actually acquired the new knowledge, skills, attitudes taught. Did they learn what was intended? Moves beyond liking to knowing.
Precisely. Measurement here is more objective. Quizzes, tests, exams, demonstrations, simulations, pre- and post-training helps quantify knowledge skill gain attributable training, demonstrates measurable change in cognitive or psychomotor abilities, confirms content was absorbed, understood.
Like safety training, testing, protocol knowledge, or software training, testing function proficiency.
Exactly.
Now this next one, really where the rubber meets the road, right? Level 3, behavior. Observes if participants actually apply learned knowledge, skills on the job. Are they consistently doing things differently back in their roles, day to day, aligning with objectives? Visible, tangible change in on-the-job performance.
Often the most challenging level to measure accurately, consistently. Requires objective observation, 360-degree feedback, performance reviews, supervisor ratings over time after training.
Looking for concrete evidence, new behaviors aren't just understood, but consistently demonstrated, sustained in the workplace.
Without this, learning might be there, but isn't translating into improved performance where it matters, indicates a potential transfer of training. Problem skills learned aren't making it to the job. Challenges include Hawthorne effect, ensuring consistent managerial follow-up.
And then the ultimate question, the capstone, level 4, results. Measures ultimate business impact. Tying training directly to larger organizational goals, bottom line. Did training achieve tangible, quantifiable business improvements justifying the investment, where ROI truly comes in?
Exactly. Measurement involves quantifiable metrics, improved product quality, fewer defects, increased sales, higher customer satisfaction, reduced costs, higher productivity, lower turnover, better safety records, faster time to market. The ultimate measure of ROI links training to strategic business objectives.
Hardest to measure, though. Isolating training's impact from other factors, market conditions, management changes, new tech.
Often the hardest, yes. But when done effectively, undoubtedly the most impactful for demonstrating true long-term value. Securing future budget, executive support, proves training didn't just teach skills, but contributed to critical strategic objectives.
To make evaluation even more robust, sources mention controlled studies, using control groups, no training, and experimental groups, get training.
Allows more robust evaluation by isolating training's effect. Compare performance, behavior, results of trained versus untrained group. Minimize influence of other variables. Clearer picture if training caused observed changes. Gold standard for causation, though challenging to implement in real-world orgs. Practical constraints, equity issues, logistics.
Sources directly relate the Hotel Paris case here, underscores evaluation's vital role. Their issue wasn't just training hours below industry standards.
But the purpose and impact of that training were unclear.
Their strategic response was crucial. Align training programs directly with the goal of achieving exceptional customer service.
Explicitly highlights Kirkpatrick's Level 4. Results. Tying training directly to a key business outcome affecting revenue, brand reputation. The challenge for Hotel Paris then becomes rigorously evaluating if increased training hours, new programs, actually translated into measurably better customer service.
So level 1, did employees find training helpful for service? Level 2, did they learn specific new phrases, procedures, EQ techniques?
Level 3, were managers observing or customers reporting via surveys actual changes in front desk interactions, responsiveness, problem resolution?
And level 4, did this lead to higher customer satisfaction scores, repeat bookings, fewer negative reviews, increased tips, connecting the dots between training effort and tangible business outcomes?
Without this strategic evaluation, increased training hours are just an expense, not a proven investment.
For HR pros, managers, evaluation is your evidence. Justify investment, refine programs, prove tangible contribution to organizational success, bottom line, transforms training from perceived expense to clear, measurable strategic investment.
Couldn't agree more.
What a deep dive. We've journeyed through the entire employee development lifecycle today, from that impactful first impression with onboarding
to the strategic blueprint of ADI guiding effective learning.
Exploring that whole toolbox of practical training techniques.
Nurturing the next generation of leaders through targeted development.
Navigating the choppy waters of organizational change with foresight.
And finally, proving the value of it all through rigorous evaluation.
What's truly fascinating here is how interconnected it all is, not just discrete programs.
No, it's a holistic, integrated ecosystem. Continuous learning, adaptation supporting individual growth and strategic goals, which raises an important question every leader should ponder. When organizations fail to strategically invest in any of these critical areas, onboarding, systematic training, leadership dev, change management, what's the long-term, often hidden cost?
It's not just a lack of skills, is it?
No. It's a profound lack of agility, reduced employee engagement, higher turnover, and ultimately a significant erosion of competitiveness in a rapidly evolving market.
Absolutely. The sources make it undeniably clear. Training and development aren't just HR functions. They are vital strategic imperatives.
Underpinning individual growth, driving organizational effectiveness, supporting long-term strategic goals.
From simple structured OJT to a complex leadership academy, organizations must tailor initiatives to specific, identified needs.
And crucially, regular, multi-level evaluation ensures programs deliver measurable outcomes, keep pace with dynamic organizational change.
Connecting to the bigger picture, it underscores that in today's world, the most successful orgs aren't just those with the best products, tech, or processes.
Increasingly, they're defined by those with the most adaptable, knowledgeable, resilient, engaged people. Their human capital is their true, sustainable, competitive advantage.
So what does this all mean for you? Whether you're early career HR building programs, a seasoned manager elevating your team, or just curious about how organizations thrive.
It means investing in people strategically, systematically, isn't just a nice-to-have benefit. It's the bedrock of sustainable success, future resilience.
Okay, the final provocative thought for you to mull over. If effective training and development are truly the bedrock of organizational success and competitive advantage, what unique, truly innovative training approach could your organization pioneer right now to gain a truly unmatchable edge in the next 5 years?
Ooh, good question. What bold new frontier of learning could you explore to empower your workforce in ways no competitor has yet imagined?
We hope this deep dive has given you a richer understanding and some actionable insights. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep leading.